and thank you for attending our Digital Art Designs workshop. We really hope that you enjoyed it. In this recap video, we will go through the main parts of what we covered in the workshop, and you will be able to pause, rewind, and fast forward to the parts of the video to be able to help you. So let's get started. In the workshop, we created a number of different designs that you could use to promote a product. In this recap video, I will be using my iPad to be able to create my designs, but because you have access to Canva, you can access Canva on any device, a laptop, a tablet, or an iPad. You can even use it on a phone, but just be aware that some of the menus might not show up properly because the screen of your phone is smaller. So let's get started. I'm going to load up Canva, and as you can see here are my designs that I created when I was in the session. So I've got my bubble tea, I've got my Diet Coke bottles, I've got my AI bear that we did, and then we've got the moving video at the end there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by coming into Canva and pressing the home button. This takes me back to where we would originally start. So if you're doing this the first time, this is what your screen will look like. We're going to go to the orange button, which is the presentation button. And we're just going to tap on there, and that's going to take us to a brand new presentation that we can then start to use and build. Now remember, you can do whatever digital art design you would like to do. I'm just going to show you some of the features of Canva, but if you want to do something completely different, that is absolutely fine. What you need to remember with Canva is that the elements down the side is part of this little menu here. So we have design, we have elements, we have the text button, we have our camera roll, we have our uploads tool, and then we have different projects and apps at the bottom. So anytime we're looking for something, we need to come over to the left-hand side. So let's first of all take a look at design. I'm just going to type in here, and I'm going to type in bubble. And it shows you that it comes up with all of these different backgrounds you can use. So I'm just going to go to this one here and just tap on the first one because I like the look of that one. And then I'm just going to press this little arrow in the corner to help me get rid of that. Now remember, if something is selected in Canva, it has that purple box all the way around it, and that gives you the little menu bar that comes up to the top. If you want to delete something, simply tap on it and press the little bin on the top, and that will allow you to delete that. So now I'm left with my background. What I want to do now is put in a picture of some bubble tea. So I'm going to come over to the elements button on the left hand side of the screen, and I'm just going to tap on there, and I'm going to type in at the top bubble tea. It then brings us up with lots of different graphics that I can use, photos, videos, but I'm just going to go to graphics for the minute, and then I can scroll down. Now there are literally hundreds and hundreds of pictures that you can choose. Oh, I like him waving, he's lovely. And what you can do is you can choose the one that you prefer the best. Now, remember, you need to have signed up to our Canva Family Fund account for Festival, and that will give you access to all of these Edu pictures for free. Normally, you'd have to pay for those, but you're getting these ones free for attending Festival. So I'm just going to scroll down, and I think I'm going to choose this little guy here, and I'm going to put him to the side there. You can put as many pictures as you want to. It's completely up to you. Let me now add in some text by going to the text button and tapping add a text box, and that will allow me to then type in what I want my screen to say. Now remember, when it comes to creating a picture or for a digital art design, the less information you have, the better. because you don't want people crashing their cars or walking into walls when they're trying to read what's on your sign. You want them to be able to see it straight away. So I'm just going to do Laura's bubble tea there. Remember, when it's selected, I can make it bigger or smaller. I can make the box bigger by tapping on these little handles that allow me to make it bigger or smaller, and I can extend it and make it shorter, whichever I want to be able to do. I'm just going to move that up to the top to the corner there, and I'm going to tap on where it says Canvas Sans. That's going to give me all of my different fonts that I can use, and there are literally hundreds of fonts you can use. I'm just going to go to this one called Mango. I like the look of that one. It's quite bubbly, which is quite good. And I'm just going to move that now across so that it fits on my screen. I can change the colour by tapping on the A with the rainbow underneath, and it gives me some of the colours that are already in on the screen, which is great. You can choose whichever colour you want to. And then if you want to then make it stand out a little bit more, there is an option when you tap on it and it has the purple button box around it to go to the effects button. And the effects button will then bring you up a little menu down the side where you can add a bit of glitch to it, and you can then kind of offset that so you can make that stand out a little bit more. You could add a shadow, you can give it lift so it stands up. I actually really like that glitch. So I'm just going to turn that up a little bit there so that it looks there. There we go. And then I'm just going to add in another text box and just do available now. There we go. I'm just going to make that a little bit smaller by moving the arrow across the little handle so it fits in that little box. There we go. So that we've got that there. So you can just create lots of different digital art designs by just using that text button and the elements button. But it may be that you want to be able to create a digital art design for something that you have a photograph of. So let me come down to the page here, and I'm just going to press on this little add button, which is going to give me a new page. And you can see now it's given me kind of a purple background, and we can see that with our little menu that's come up here with that little purple dot. I'm just going to change that dot now to red for the minute, because this is where I'm going to do my Coke bottles that we did in our session. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to elements, and instead of saying bubble tea, I'm going to do red bubbles. There we go. And see if it comes up with any pictures. Now, graphics might be a good place to go, but actually I want something that looks a little bit more professional. So I'm going to go to photos, and we can see here we've got all of these different ones here, but I actually quite like that top one there. So I'm going to tap on there and just make it full screen by moving these little handles and pulling it across. So there we go, I've got my background. So what I want to do now is I want to upload a picture. So down the left hand side of the screen, I'm going to come to my little uploads button, which looks like a little cloud with an arrow. And I'm going to tap on here, and I'm going to choose upload files. Now, depending on what device you're on, will depend on where your device takes you. So if I go on my iPad, I'm going to go to photo library, and this will then take me to all of my different photos here. If you're on your laptop, it will take you to your downloads or your My Documents. And if you're on an Android tablet, it'll take you to your File Explorer. But I can just find my picture there. There we go. So I'm going to tap on it and press Add. And you can see it's now appearing on the left-hand side of my screen here. And it's got a little arrow, that's a kind of little line that's coming up to show me it's uploading. Once that little blue and purple line disappears, you can now tap on it and it will put it onto the screen. Now remember, you can do the same thing, make this bigger and smaller by moving those arrows. But that doesn't look great, does it, in terms of having my carpet in the background. So I'm going to tap on the picture, make sure that it has a purple border all the way around, and then I'm going to tap on BG Remover. And that appears on the little bar along the top. And that will then get rid of the background for me. Just like that. Perfect. Now, BG Remover is one of those features that is a pro feature. So you'll need to make sure that you have your Canva account with our Family Fund access, just so that you can access all of these lovely features. So once I've got that now, I can then go to my text box, add in a text box and type in a perfect combination. I don't even need to say that it's Coke Zero or Diet Coke, because I think everybody knows from that red and from the Coke logo that that's what it is. So we don't need to say that it's Diet Coke. Remember, I'm just going to make my words pop out a little bit by tapping on them, getting that purple box around them and going to effects. This time I'm just going to put a shadow on, and I'm going to change that shadow to white just to see if it kind of makes it pop a little bit more. And I'm going to turn up, there we go, the transparency. Now, it may be worth having a bit of a play with some of these dots here. You can see how it kind of moves the direction of the shadow, which is helpful, and you can show how much it's offset. But you can do whatever's best. Now, what I can also do here with this one, I can also go to my elements. I'm going to get rid of the red part of bubbles and just type in bubbles. Because as part of Canva, we've got graphics, we've got photos, we've got charts, but we've also got some audio. So I can go in and listen to see if I can hear any bubbles popping. So let's have a listen. Perfect. So I'm just going to tap on that one, and that's going to now appear along the bottom. And remember, just like in our session, you can also tap on things and animate them. So you can actually have them coming onto the screen, kind of sliding in. You can have an old TV. You can do it where it kind of pops in. Oh, pop's a good one, especially with a bean pop. I think I might have that one. So now, when we do this one, let's have a watch and see and just play this through. Perfect. I love that one. Excellent. So I've got my bubble tea, and then I've got the next one, which is the Coke button. Great. So now we've had a look at how we can add in just pictures and text, how we can now add in photos and look at how we can remove backgrounds. Let's have a look at some of the other features that Canva has. So I'm going to start a new page by pressing the add button at the bottom. I'm just going to cut my little bubble sound there because I don't want that going on to my next one. And then this time I'm going to do kind of a robot bear. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come up to my design at the top, and I'm just going to type in robot. And let's see what this comes up with. I might go into design and see if there's anything in the... Oh, actually, I quite like the look of that one. So I'm going to tap on here, and I'm just going to delete these things here. There we go. I'm just going to tap and press the bin. But that's going to give me a lovely background there that I can now use. So I can come into my elements and type in robot, and it comes up with all of these different things. But actually, that's not what I'm after. I'm after kind of like a robot bear, like a cuddly bear that's maybe wearing a VR headset. So let's have a look. Let's scroll down and look at something called Magic Media. Now, what this does is this allows me to create a picture by telling Canva what I want. So I'm going to come into my little description here, and I'm going to type in a cute, fluffy, brown teddy bear wearing a silver VR headset. There we go. And then I'm going to tap generate images at the bottom. And Canva's going to use its AI technology to try and create a picture for me. Now, don't worry if it doesn't get it right first time, and sometimes that happens. Oh my goodness, they're amazing. I love those. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose this one and tap on him. Now, remember what happened before with our bottles? We don't want that background, so I'm just going to tap on background remover. And I'm just going to let him come up there like that. And then I'm just going to make him big and kind of put him over to the side. Because sometimes, you know, when you're launching a new product, you don't want everybody to see the whole thing. You want to kind of tease them with what's coming. Now, if you have a picture and you go, oh, I like that, but it's not quite right. If you tap on the 3 little dots at the side of the picture, it then says generate more like this. So it'll keep that one and then it'll create another 3 for you to see if it gets it any closer for you. But to be fair, I think I'm happy with the one that I've got. So I'm going to do that now. And now I'm going to come up and add in a text box and just say introducing. There we go. Now I'm just going to move that up. Now that introducing looked really good. That font looked really good when I was using it for kind of pop and bubble tea. So I'm just going to change it to something a little bit more stylized, kind of more pointy, like this Anton, to just kind of, that's better, to make it fit my idea. Now you might have noticed at the beginning when I loaded up this slide, it had future in kind of bubble silver lettering on the pink background. So I'm just going to come to elements and I'm just going to type in silver metallic letters. And what it does is it brings up these little silver letters that you can then use. So if I just tap on the R, it brings it across here and I can start to put it in. Now remember, just like we did before, when we tapped on those 3 dots in the corner, it kind of gave me more like this, and it actually says see more like this. And what it does, it brings up all of the letters in that collection. So what you can then do is you can then start to line up all of these letters. And the great thing about it is when you do this, it allows you to be able to line these up so that they're the same height by using something called these alignment lines. And it just allows you to just join everything together and be able to kind of have them all the same height. So what I can do is I can just go back to my O. I'm going to duplicate one of those again. And actually I can duplicate one of my B's again. That's handy. And then I need to find my E. So let's come up and see if we can find it. There's the E. There we go. And then I need an A. And then my R again. So let me just see. There we go. There's my A. And then my R. I'll just duplicate the R again. Perfect. Now the problem with these is at the minute that everything's not fitting. So what I can do is if I tap, I can go select multiple. And what I can do is I can then select all of these and group them together to make them a little bit smaller. There we go. So then I can press done on that one. And then just make this one come up here. And with my little alignment lines, try and line everything back up. Let's just put my A in there. And then finally my R as well. If you make a mistake, remember you've just got your little undo buttons in the corner. And then you can just make sure that everything kind of fits. I'm just going to go and press the 3 dots again and do select multiple. And just select all of these things together. There we go. And then it just helps me group everything so that I can get everything to fit in the space. Perfect. And then if I need to, I can just tap done. And I can just make this little A a bit bigger. There we go. And the R a bit bigger, just so that everything fits. Perfect. So I've now got introducing Robo Bear. And you can literally develop your skills in Canva to do anything you want to. So if I just go to a final page now, let's have a think about maybe kind of a drone and some moving objects to my digital art design. So I'm going to come up here now and I'm going to search robot. And then I'm going to come down to videos and see if I can get a robot background. I quite like the look of this one. So I'm just going to put that one there. And I might even want to have a look and see if I can put in a drone. Let's go into graphics and see, we've got all of these different things we can use. So some of them are just static images, but actually I might want to see if I can have a moving drone. Now there was one at the top there, but I'm just going to see if I can find the one that I like using the most. But actually that, ooh, I was going to say I like that green one, but then I just saw that one there as well. There are literally hundreds of ones that you can then use. Let's see if I type in drone robot, what might come up, and see if we've got some nice ones in here. I like the fact that it's got some parcels as well. That's really handy. So have a look through and see if there are any that you like the look of. Okay, I'm going to come back up to those ones before where they had the parcels. There we go. I'm just going to pop that one in there. Now, what you can do is you can actually go in and change the colours. So I might actually want to make it a pink parcel. There we go. So there is ways sometimes of being able to change the colours. And then once you've done that, you can then go onto your text. You can add in, so I'm going to do Dickinson, drone, delivery. There we go. I'm just going to make that box a little bit smaller and make it go over to the right hand side, just so it kind of fits around my picture a bit better. Now remember, sometimes when you've done this, I'll just tap on my text and move it across. Sometimes the colour might not work, so remember you've got that A with the rainbow that allows you to change the colour. We've got the effects to be able to give it a bit of shadow so that you can then see it, and you can do that as well. And if you want to, you can also put on some music as well. So if I do robot and come to audio, I might even be able to kind of have some robotic music that I can use in the background. Let's have a look and see what comes up. Let's use that, and I'm just going to drop it on there, and it's going to do that there now. And remember as well, if you want to, you can animate and you can have things coming on. So at the minute we've got pop, but you might want to kind of have all these different ones that you can do. Literally, you can do anything you want with Canva. And the great thing is it automatically saves everything for you. But if you wanted to share it with us in Showbie, you can come up to the share button at the top, press download, and then you've got all of these different options. What I would suggest is if it's a video and got moving parts, let's save it as a video, and you can save each individual one, or you can save it as separate ones. So I'm going to just save my bottle one. There we go. I'm just going to press download, and that's going to download that one as a video. And I'm also going to save my, there we go, save video. I'm also going to do the same thing for my Dickinson drone delivery there. So share, download, video, and this time it's going to do page 4. There we go. But you can also just save as pictures as well. So if you just wanted to, you could even design your own mobile phone background by using Canva, using all of the skills that you've done today, and create that and be able to save it as a picture. Now, as I'm doing this and pressing download, I'm just going to save these next ones as JPEGs. Now, I'm going to do these ones as, let's have a look. I'm going to do number 1 and number 3, because 2 and 4, if I just select those, of my videos. So I'm just going to do 1 and 3, download those. There we go. Now, if you're doing this on an Android, it'll save it to your File Explorer. If you're doing this on a laptop, it'll save it into your Downloads folder. And if you're doing it on your iPad like me now, you can see that it's now downloading. And if I just swipe up from the bottom and go into my Photos app, you'll be able to see now along the bottom, we've got my videos here. There we go. And I've also got my images that are there as well, which is great. And then I can then save them and put them into Showbie or share them with my friends and family. And the great thing about Canva is if you go back into Canva and tap on the 3 lines and go to home, just where we started, you will see that everything that you have done is already saved in your family fund account, and you can then go in and change it if you need to. So I can't wait to see what digital art designs you create from being in the workshop and watching this recap video. We really hope that this video has helped, but if there is anything that you need from us, please get in touch with us at the Discover Digital team and we will be more than happy to help. Thanks for watching.